So, hi, my beautiful, 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 beautiful people. Today is literally my first off day in what? In what? Like a month or 3 weeks? I think it is. But anyway, that's not why I am here. I'm gonna be doing these things in real time, I promise you. But because I went out today and now I'm back, I decided I was gonna do my video. I have two more videos. Um, that I want to complete in this series called S.A.P.S. Simply living in the city, being able to afford it in the city, living in proximity in the city, and talking about sustainability in the city as you live in the city. So, for those of you who may just be popping by to see this video for the first time and just happen to come across this channel, my name is EM, and I am a health and wellness well-being coordinator slash consultant, and I live in the city. And I just wanted to start sharing my experience about living in the city as a woman, as a black woman, because I've been seeing a lot of videos on social media about living in Canada, living in Toronto, and all the negative stuff. But I'm here to say I'm not a millionaire, I'm not a billionaire. I haven't gotten to that status as yet, right? But I know from my experience, from my lived experience, that you can live in the city and you can afford living in the city if you prioritize and you're intentional about your way of living. So I've already done two parts in this series of S.A.P.S, and today I just want to speak to you about proximity, because it so happened that today I went out. I didn't have any breakfast, and because I didn't have any breakfast, I was feeling really out of my mind. So guess what? I just went, I had three things that needed to get done within the city, right? And I needed to get back home on time, but guess what? I wasn't feeling like 100, so I had to literally just take a cab back, and short distance, 5 minutes, I was home. But long story short, we are here, and today we're going to be speaking about proximity, which so happened to work out, right? So, yes, how important is proximity to you when you're living in the city? If you're new, you're just trying to get your footing in the city, you're just trying to, figure life out, how important is proximity to you? So for me, it was very important, because one, I knew I had friends who would have been in Toronto long before I came here. So I had that. So that was part of my community, right? So that's one of the important thing. You need to have a community, right? It really helps with your mind. It kind of puts you at ease, so you can get stuff done. So I just have a bit of note written here, and I'm just gonna look at them as I speak. So as I said, one of the big things that if you're thinking about living in the city, and when it comes to proximity, is that because everything is so close by, you can literally create a community. And a community is not like, I'm not talking about having a community where you have to run to every 5 minutes, but just knowing that that community is there, right? It kind of would just really put your mind at ease, right? So for me, my community living in proximity in the city would look like meeting places. So like in I did a short. I spoke about just being able to run to the library and pick up books, look at new reads, um, maybe just sit and relax. Take my daughter also, because my youngest daughter loves to read a lot. So that's some place that we can go and then we can hang, right? Um, and yes, so also the school, very importantly, when you're new in the city, when you're new in Canada. And I'm not saying that you can't live in urban, but from my own experience also, if you're living outside of the city, it can get pretty tricky if you have kids, if you're working, because you don't really have that sense of community. Like sometimes the libraries are far, people live like different, it's so spaced out that you can get a bit, or you may just get a bit homesick. For me personally, I did experience that, so that is why for me, when I actually lived a bit outside of the city, I decided I was going to move back because it really didn't work for me. So being in the city for me, like, really put my mind at ease. So school is in close school is in close proximity, and then within that proximity of school, you can actually forge relationship with other parents, get to know other parents, start your own outside parenting group, your support group. And for those of you who don't know, childcare is expensive, and I may just do that on its own one of these days. But childcare, that should have been in affordability. Childcare, I think I touched on it briefly, but I can't remember. But childcare, if you don't have that support, if you have someone who, who, like, you make friends with a parent and you guys can interchange and pick up your kids from school and drop off to school, that can be a really good help, um, when it comes to your budget, right? To your money, because childcare in the city of Toronto is expensive, right? But that is where proximity comes in, because if you're living in the city and you're working in the city, maybe you can have someone just pick your child, and then you can just, you can make arrangement to just give them, like, some money, not the full pay, as if that child was in the daycare, if you had to take that child to a daycare, right? So you're working close by, you're able to get home in an hour. You can offer a friend, somebody that you trust, and you've gotten to, you can trust them, and that is very important. That person can help out with childcare for like an hour or two, if when you're going, or if you're coming from work, right? Trust me, it's not gonna add up to that $2,500 a month, which is literally maybe half of your paycheck, right? Trust me. I know, right? So another thing, as in, community, that I love is that we have our, like, you have your farmers market. So I do love a farmers market. I don't know if it's because I'm from the Caribbean and I love to see, like, I just love seeing a lot of food. But I do love seeing food, fresh food. I love going to farmers market, and I love smelling, like, the chives and the green onions, and just like the oranges and the grapes, and like, I just love, there's just, I don't know. And plus, I'm big on plant based. I'm a vegan, so I just love that I can go to farmers market and get fresh stuff, right? And also support local, right? That's also part of sustainability, which I'll speak about in my next video, right? So yeah. um Another thing is that our rec centers, so our rec centers has, like, there's swimming pools, there's tennis, you can go and play tennis, there's gyms, like, so much things that are in close proximity. Whereas if you live outside of the city, if you live in the suburbs, it gets kind of a tricky, right? You may just have to jump into your car, jump into your Jeep, and go to the gym. And who wants all of that, right? I want to just be able to walk to the gym, just, so yeah. So that's proximity and community. Another thing that I want to talk about is green spaces. And yes, there are green spaces in the suburbs. Yes, there are. But I'm talking about city, living in the city, right? Um, we do have some lovely green spaces, right? One of the things that I love is, like, going by the lake, right? And there's these beautiful parks. We have some little mini parks. There's beautiful, well kept playgrounds that the children can go to, right? So, and one of the things that I love about rec space is, there's this thing about, they have this yoga, right? I'm big on health and wellness, so maybe that's where my prejudice is coming from. But I just love, like, I just love to be able to go in the park, especially in the, and it's not, Canada is a cool country, so maybe that's why I appreciate it more. But it's so good to be able to go in the park and just see people doing yoga, or you're able to partake in yoga in taking care of your taking care of your wellness, right? So yeah, so that's number two. And number three, why I love living in the city and importance of proximity in terms of, just trying to make everything well and just having time and having peace of mind and things like that is transit. So where I live in downtown Toronto, I am literally able to. I have one, two, three, four, five. I think I have five access point, where if I go south, if I go east, if I go west, if I go north, if I'm going north, like I have five access point that I can just jump onto a train. I can jump onto a streetcar. I can literally take the bus. So at these five different points, so it's like the transit is important to me, and important to me having that proximity, because when it gets cold in Canada. So I just want to be able to have access and easy access, close. I just want to be able to be in close proximity to a subway, that I can just get into the subway and be able to just get to work easy. And I know that may not be possible for everyone, but as I said, I'm just sharing my experience in living in the city with someone, and how I'm able to live a SAP life. That's my thing. That's my thing, right? And of course, because I live close to the subway, or I can just jump in the streetcar, I am kind of able to, sometimes if I just want to go somewhere, I can just walk. So no my biggie. I love walking. Even when it's cold. I have nice boots, nice hat, scarf, my gloves, my nice jacket, good quality jacket, and I'm my coat, and I'm good to go. Okay. So um the last thing that I have on my list is health services. Um it's not really the last thing, but it's kind of like services. So let me just say services, because these are just little things that I jot down in terms of what you have in proximity to you. And I'm stressing this because I know there's a lot of women, there's a lot of mom, there's a lot of single dads who are coming to Canada, especially Toronto, with their kids. So, when it comes to proximity and you living in the city, these are some of the things that you may really want. You want to be able to um, have close access to to banks, right? To the mall, to healthcare center, to hospitals, right? And it's so much easier for you, because take for instance that something is wrong. If you have to come a really long distance, and I'm not saying the other places don't have, because we have access to a lot of services, you know Toronto wide, GTA wide, and stuff like that. But for me, I'm just sharing my experience to say, the closer you are to these services, the better it is for you. You don't have to jump into your car, you don't have to walk too far to access these services, because they're literally in close proximity to you. So, as I said, SAP, simple, affordable, proximity. Those are some of the things that I know and I've been using, right, to be able to afford living in the city. I don't like making long videos. I'm just still trying to get accustomed to the camera. I feel like literally I'm talking to myself, so it feels weird. But that's what I want to just talk to you about and to share with you today. Proximity, the importance of living close to everything when you're living in the city, especially if you're coming to Canada for the first time and you're by yourself, especially if you're coming as a single mom, especially if you're coming as a single dad, especially if you're coming as a family and you have kids. You need to be able to navigate life in the city, and the closer you are to services, the closer you are to recreation sites, the closer you are where you have a community of people that you can deal, that you can work around, it's the better for your peace of mind. So that is really what I wanted to share with you today. Proximity in the city, it really gives you peace of mind, it helps you to save money, and you can start organizing your life the way that you want. So next time, our next video is gonna be on sustainability. I'm literally gonna show you, I'm gonna try to actually show you my garden, how I may just do a video, you never know. I'm trying to be creative here, but I just want to share with you that, and try to debunk some of the things that people are saying in terms of, oh, it's so difficult. It's you who can make your life the way it's supposed to be, right? You set the tone for your life. And I'm not debunking the fact that people are having issues in the city, people are not having, everybody's not having a good experience, but I just want to say it's a mindset thing, and it's a mindset shift that you need to do. So yes, I live in the city of Toronto. I am taking it as it go, but I'm being intentional about my life, because I know if I'm intentional about my life and I set things in place, then I would make my life how it should be. And I don't want to complain. I live from a place of gratitude every day, and that is what I want to encourage you to do. So until next time, I will talk to you when we talk about sustainability and S.A.P.S and living in the city. Bye now.